Welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast, where leaders live with intention. I'm Becky Plautz, and every week we explore the mindset shifts, courageous conversations, and transformational stories that help you become the woman you're called to be. Whether you're growing your confidence, strengthening your leadership, building your business, or simply learning to trust yourself again, you're in the right place because your future isn't built by chance. It's built by the promises you keep to yourself and the choices you make on purpose. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's grow stronger together. And today we are doing our strategy conversation, which is all around our monthly theme of creativity in the On Purpose community. And it's our Level Up community who is sharing with us today. So I have 6 of us that'll be talking today about the conversation and the framework of create. So if you are a note taker, which I encourage you to take notes, is create for your acronym as we move through this conversation around how creativity isn't just about making art. It's about intentionally creating a meaningful life, a business, your legacy through the daily choices, the identity, and the aligned action that you choose to take. Okay. All right. So as we dive in, our C is to choose the vision. I love this. Earlier, before we even hit record, we were talking about decision and like how the things come after we make a decision about something, right? How we see things a little bit differently. We see more synchronicities and things showing up in our life because we have made the choice of what we're looking for and what we're creating. So the C is choose the vision. And I like to even say like blurry targets don't get hit, right? It's the focus that we're looking at. So the choice, right? So, and this is, I'm opening this up for our ladies in the room to share. This is what I love. You can hear some real experiences and things in real time from other women that are, working on these things as well and being more conscious of them. So what are you intentionally creating in this season and time of your life? And, that could be something that just keeps returning to you that you're wanting to pay attention to now because you're going to choose it. So, does anyone have anything they want to share around choosing the vision? And be sure to introduce yourself so they can hear your voice and connect your name and face to who is speaking about their vision. Who would like to share?
Well, I'll jump in.
Jump in.
Nancy Kelso, otherwise known as Coach K in our community. And I get to ignite confidence and courage in leaders who want to really run sustainable practices. I'm a coach and I typically coach coaches. So um, choose and choosing vision and being intentional. Um, is I think an area that, and I just said this before we started recording, and you mentioned it, Becky, right? Like once I make a decision, then everything starts to fall into place, right? Like the creativity starts to flow once you allow yourself to receive what you're meant to be going after. And sometimes it's not even what we're meant to be going after. We just have to take a step. And so when I think of my vision and how it's changed in the 8 years I've owned my business now, um, I've there's so many shifts because it's because of the intentional steps I've taken along the way. Um, but what's really interesting to me about my vision, because my vision now is really about um, providing my vision is that anybody who wants a coach can afford and receive a coach. And in order to make that happen, our world needs many more coaches who have sustainable practices. And so that's why I focus on helping coaches build sustainable practices. But interestingly enough, even though my vision has changed and that I work more with coaches now and I work on this um, helping them be sustainable, I'm using a framework, which is my real framework, to help guide that. So the real framework is reflect, engage, align, and lead. When I look back on my vision 8 years ago, I still remember a conversation I had with a neighbor who I would bounce ideas off of at the time when I told her about real. And I started looking, I was going to be the real coach. I was going to have a website called Real Coaching, right? Blah, blah, blah. And she said, I don't know, it's kind of tacky. And then I started looking it up, and um, the words under real estate often showed up. And so then it would be confusing with real estate. So I really let all of that like change my decision. But what's interesting is that, and I believe it's divine intervention. I think God has guided me back to no, real is it. And it showed up then in my programs I did. So it became my focus. I got more intentional about focusing on the real framework with by taking the steps and making small decisions along the way. So that's what's showing up for me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that's even taking me at this point. I'm excited to see what others have to say about not only choosing intentionally, but the other parts of our acronym today.
Yeah, we talked about that last night in Heart to Heart when we talked about creativity, and we had several quotes that we kind of explored. And I think what you just said brought to my mind that there in decision making, there is the component of flexibility, of seeking out the inconsistencies and taking the leap, and then looking back and seeing where you came from, and so it's like you can be too structured when you're making choices, and you can stay within a specific framework that you won't deviate from, and that can really be a deterrent to creativity. And so when you talked about that, that was one of the things we talked about for quite a while last night. And yeah, so you just brought that to my mind again. Thank you, Nancy.
Anchor in that learning that we took from Heart to Heart for sure.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Terry Sayre, by the way. Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I let my children take care of me.
Oh.
This is Kelly Fox. I'm a virtual assistant and a Fear Mastery coach. And what at first, when you asked if we wanted to share, I was like, I don't know what I would share. What am I choosing? What am I wanting to focus on? And then I thought about it for a little while, and we talked about this in, I don't know, in a class or an action hour before, but choosing my personal power and really focusing on choices that empower me, or choices that owning my choices, whether they're the ones that I want to be doing or the ones that I am doing still, owning that these are my choices, and that I am not a victim. I am not whatever, right? I have choice, and owning that these are the things I'm choosing to do, even if they are contrary to the things that I say I want to be doing, right? So yeah, so just really focusing on my my power to choose, my power to create change, my power to um take action, however that might be.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cal. Yeah, Leah, go ahead.
I love that, Kel. You kind of segued into what I was thinking. I'm Leah Allen, and I call myself a relationship marketing strategist. So my goal is to help you build relationships in business so that you can bring new people into your business and take care of the ones that are in your business. And what I was thinking about was you said blurry targets don't get hit. And that really struck me. And I thought, there's a saying, a famous saying, and I'll age myself, but in a song by Rush, choosing not to decide is still making a choice. And I know that I have spent a lot of time in different emotional states, putting my head in the sand and not making a choice, thinking at least I'm safe, but actually that's not safe, and not making a choice and not taking care of myself is not helping me. And so I chose recently to stay with this group another 6 months. And it was to some degree a sacrifice for me because I was spending money that I wanted to allocate to something else, right? To be a part of this amazing container, this coaching community. But I was like, I could spend the money here, or I could. And then I said, if I don't do this, I will not make the movements I need to. I need the accountability. I need the focus. I need the intention. So I chose on purpose to be in this group and show up on Sundays to do my planning. And I have to tell you, just every Sunday when I come in here and I set my intention, it is so powerful because I always accomplish what I put on my list. And so I need to just put more things on my list and not be like a wimp. I need to add more things to my list. So
we'll work on the strengthening part. We won't focus on the wimp part. We'll focus on the strength that you're building by choosing that ahead of time and following through on it, because you are. Thank you, Leah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to follow up. So my name is Brianna Moravik Miller, but I go by Bree. I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I've been practicing for several years, lots of years actually. I don't even want to say how many, lots of years, long time. I'm moving into the coaching world, so my goal is to do life coaching with relationships, or like for every season. So something too that you said, Leah, which is just like clicked for me, which is this has been the year, which I've been very public about, the year of change, the year of picking myself. But a quotation that came up when Leah was talking was that you don't have to know the how, you just have to know the why. And like the investment that we have in ourselves, I think is so extremely important. I am going to be 100% honest. Create was such a difficult word for me because I immediately went to, what do I have to do? What, right? And, or like it's art or it's music or it's, and instead of being able to take it back and just say, no, I can create space. I can create financial freedom for my family. I can create an environment where I'm learning and growing, or I can create time to invest in myself. Thursdays and Sundays, or I look forward to those now. And so I really had to backtrack because create's hard in my brain, because I'm like, I don't love painting, and I don't love, people do diamond art, and that gives me anxiety that you have to put all the things and I don't love all of that. And so that's immediately where my mind went to. And instead I had to backtrack and say, I can actually create intention, be really intentional, and create space and create investment for myself in my own self. And so I really love that very much.
That's so awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's so many people, myself included. Create was something that I have grown in, and understanding that it isn't about art. It isn't about something so specific and in a box, that it's unlimited to like what we can create. Cal, I saw your hand pop up.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear up a little bit of language that you, Bree, you didn't have to choose to relook at the word create. You chose to relook at the word create so that it would be a word that support you. And then going back to Leah, it's being a relationship marketing strategist is what you are, not what you say you are. Okay. You are a relationship marketing strategist. Own it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we can go back to
I love
it.
Well, the R is to release perfection. So we're going to rock on just, we're learning along the way, and that's awesome. So thanks, Kel, for pointing it out that we get to work on our words and how powerful they are. But the R for create for our acronym is really about releasing perfection. So what has perfection been keeping you from creating maybe up until now in your life, right? Your business, your legacy, whatever your focus is and that vision that you have now saw you want to choose. You're going to choose that, or you already are actively choosing that. Where have you delayed action long enough? What have you learned by simply beginning or starting messy, right? How has imperfect action been serving you? That's the questions I want to just open up to say, like, who wants to share? Leah, go ahead.
This is like near and dear to my heart because there's so many things I've been wanting to do, but I've been waiting for the stars to align and everything be perfect for me to do it. And truly, it's not going to happen. I mean, I keep hearing we're in retrograde, so I think I need to just go back to bed, right? So I don't know, but what I've found is that if I just say it out loud and I give the intention and I say it out loud, the how shows up. And then I just move towards the how and I don't worry about all the steps. And I always say that just take the first step and the next step will come. There's a Indiana Jones movie. I think it's the first one where he's going for the Holy Grail. And it's that fourth one. And there's a chasm and the Holy Grail is like way across the chasm and you don't see it, but there's something there. And he realizes he's got to take the first step, but there's nothing there. I mean, literally, if it wasn't really there, he would fall into this pit. But he chose to believe and take the next step. And then the rest of the walk was there. And so I think of that for me is, for right now, Kelly is my virtual assistant, and she's come alongside me to help me with the things that I can't see because I get overwhelmed by all the details, and she's helping me walk through that. So what I realized is to stop me from stalling and the gift of perfectionism, I'm learning to say, okay, what's the next step that I need to do? And for me, hiring Kelly was the next step. And I've already got Kelly, I have 5 classes or courses set up. And I just need to get them to you so that they can get put in where they get put in. So I'm very excited because just making that step put me forward.
Yeah. Great example of choosing the vision, what you wanted to support in, and then like releasing the perfection of like, I got to do it all and I can, and we can do anything we set our mind to. And is that where your best energy is spent, and questioning that? Like, are you just delaying because it's not where you need to put your energy and there's someone else that you can, delegate that to? Beautiful. Thank you, Leah. I'm going to move to the E of our acronym for create, which is to express. Express authentically. So, right, how has finding your voice changed your leadership? What feels more authentic today than it did before because you're expressing it? How are you showing up differently in the way that you express yourself or your vision? And like, what are you finally willing to tell yourself about it that is supporting you, right? Because it is authentic. Anybody have anything they want to share?
Well, I just have to say, this is Nancy again. I have to say, I love this question because immediately I went to, in the real framework, my E is engage. And one of the things I say is exclaim enthusiastically. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes too. And by being in this group, one of the things that really supported me was hearing Becky say when I said, I want to be the real expert. And it's kind of like what Kelly just said to Leah, right? It's like, I already am. the real expert. I mean, I already have a framework around it. I have the tools, but I was telling myself, well, there's just so much more to being the real expert. Like there's a lot more tools I can learn. There's a lot more ways this framework can be used. And I want it to be a live style for people to really tap into and like live their life in a way that they can authentically be themselves. Right. And so, yes. And the thing is, there's always going to be more. And so by just saying, I am the real expert, and putting that in biographies and as my kind of title, Nancy Kelso, the real expert, it's just there it is. It's and the more I say it, the more I believe it, and of course the more I believe it, the more I do it. So I'm constantly, now at the end of every day, I'm very intentional, back to choose, right? And choose intentionally. How did I reflect today? How did I engage? How did I align with myself, or, help other people align with who they are, whatever it is, and just using those and, how are we moving forward? And just being really intentional. So the whole, like, what I really see here is, yes, I chose it, the real expert. I'm releasing perfection. I don't have to be perfect with, being the real expert. I can always be an even better real expert, but then owning it that I am the real expert.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to say this next before anyone jumps in, because Nancy's talking about alignment, and that is the A is align your actions. Okay, which makes sense, right? Like we hear the truth is the truth. So like hearing the processes that we hear through all the books that we might be reading, or the mentorship that we're receiving, or the communities that we're involved in, like aligning our actions, like how true is it? Like once we decide what we're doing and we make the choice, we release the other things that are not in, alignment with keeping us stuck on or hidden from what we're really desiring in our life, and then working on owning it, having that expression come through. That's where we get to keep aligning our actions. So the A in create is align your actions. What are the daily habits that you're creating that you're for your future on purpose? Like you are choosing to align with this because you know where you're going. You have a direction chosen. So what promises are you keeping to yourself? What small action has created the biggest change that you can recognize, right? And like, what are you becoming through that consistency of aligning your actions?
So I was originally going to talk on express. This is Brianna. But then you said align. So then I was like, oh, this all just goes together. Journaling has been so significant in my life recently. And when I say recently, I mean like in the last 6 months. But being really intentional about what I'm journaling, about what I'm getting out of my body, what like limiting thoughts I'm just getting out. And which I just have to share, I did not grow up utilizing any of these tools. I grew up in a very small town where everybody had the very same beliefs. And if you were different, that was odd and strange. And so the expression part of this is sometimes I will share these wild ideas about writing a book. And guess what? I did the dang thing. I wrote the book. And even now, people are like, no. I still live in a very small town. And I'm like, guess what? I did it. And so even just like having the ability to express myself in a way that I'm like, this is my truest version of me, even if it doesn't fit in whatever box someone else thinks I should fit in because of where I grew up or like their thoughts on things. And so I think that the aligning action part of that is every single day I have been very consistent about being intentional about my journaling, getting things out of my body, or if I feel chaos in my body, like write it down. And sometimes I even read it out loud, because then I'm like, if I'm asking for universal alignment here, right, or if I'm asking for God to bless me with something, I'm like, please like I'm writing it, so I'm getting it out, but I'm also want to like verbalize it. And so I think that has consistently been something that I really have found has been like a habit or a step that has been really beneficial.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Through the verbalization, like that auditory. I was just speaking about this with a in-person group of women that I was talking to about how important it is to celebrate ourselves, but all in the progress that we make and the exponential power in what Nancy calls, exclaiming, like verbally, like saying it out loud, and the vibration that it puts through our body and the energy that we get from speaking life to the things that we want to grow around us, which is why we celebrate every time we step in the On Purpose community, right? Quantum physics tells us that when we go into energy for 17 seconds, something super small, like it changes the patterns of where you're going. So if you're in a disempowering thought, and I love, Brianna, that you're talking about journaling out those things from your body, so powerful, and like how much it can change quickly from recognizing it and then moving it out, So the T is trust. Trust the process, right? It isn't like trust the end part of your vision that you've now chosen, the result or the outcomes. No, it's about trusting the process. So what looked impossible, right? That's now becoming a reality because you are choosing where to go and taking some. I highlighted in the chat, like earlier when Leah was talking about, I think it was the perfection category we were talking about, and just moving towards. I capitalized the word towards because it isn't that we have to do it perfectly and like move exactly in those steps, but to move a step toward where we're going and trusting the process in this. So what required faith before we had the evidence of what we are choosing to set our focus or our vision on, right? Where have you surprised yourself through the consistency, through the repetition of practicing being the woman who is focused on that vision, right? How has trust changed your journey?
I'll jump in real quick. For me, and it's kind of a very personal thing, but trust has been about trusting myself because, in certain areas of my life, I have not acted in a way that I wanted to. I've disappointed myself. I have missed the mark. And I know that in order for me to regain trust in myself, in those areas, I have to choose on purpose, if you will, to make better choices and to do it more consistently. And if I don't show up every day for myself, then I fall back into the trust piece, where I don't trust myself. So this has been actually part of my journey, is making better choices, because in a lot of places, I have been very trustworthy and done great things, but there are certain, and Terry, I think you know what I'm talking about. There are certain areas of my life where I have not been trustworthy, and I'm working through that because I don't need to know why it is. I just need to make better choices moving forward. I don't want to sit on a couch and talk to a therapist to figure out what trauma happened to me as a child. I know that there's stuff there. The goal is, how can I make better choices today to move forward so that I can change it and set a better example for me, but also for the people who are coming up behind me. I have a legacy that I'm leaving with 2 boys. And for me, that's really my bigger motivation. So trusting myself and trusting that I will follow through is really where I'm at right now. This is, if I had a place that I was going to highlight, this is where I'm working on, trusting me that I'll make the right choices and better choices.
Yeah.
I love that, because it'll be, and it's aligning with first that choice, going back to the very beginning, and knowing that now and how much closer and clear you are about what you're building with your family, and now it just keeps pruning the path
Mm-hmm.
about how to build more trust on the decisions and the choices that you're making that are in alignment.
Yeah.
And trusting that it's all coming together in the right timing, in the right process. All of those past experiences, that's what we call our failures, our challenges. They are our lessons, right? And to help us make those choices more informed now in the present. So the E in create, to wrap up the acronym and the framework for our conversation, is to expand through community. And this is where bouncing ideas is just so powerful, or saying something and someone catching some limiting beliefs in or self-doubt in our verbiage, or, just community. How has being surrounded by intentional women, it doesn't have to be right now about this community, just in general, right? Like understanding that the intentional relationships or people that we hold space with us, that do hold space with us, like how that's changed us, hopefully elevated us, learned through that. What have you learned from others? Why is community essential for growth? Right? Because we expand through that, and not doing it alone. It doesn't happen in isolation. What encouragement would you offer another woman that's listening about community for her expansion? And again, it doesn't have to be this community, any.
But it is this community. So, if you are looking, come in to OP for one. But I mean, I've been here for a long time. And at first, I wasn't as active. I wasn't making necessarily the effort to show up each time. Um, and then I made the commitment to be a leader in the community and show up every week, and not only on my own action hours, but other people's action hours. And I really use this community as a tool to support myself and being accountable and showing up consistently and supporting others, as well as letting others support me. I'm very vulnerable in our calls. I speak very openly about what's going on with me and allow myself to take up time, which isn't necessarily something that I do everywhere else. And um and so this community has definitely helped me with all of that. And also the fact that all of us here are wanting to be better. All of us here are believing in more for ourselves and for each other. If I'm having a hard day and I come in OP, everybody's going to make me feel good about myself. They're going to remind me who I am, what I'm capable of. They see me at my best when I sometimes see me at my worst, right? And so being around people that are wanting more, who are being active and making choices and stepping out of their comfort zone, gives you the belief that you can also. When you surround yourself with negative people or people who are happy being, blah, blah, then you're blah, blah too. You know, like Bree was saying, how you want to be normal like everybody else, but she didn't want to be normal anymore. She wanted to do the things she wanted to do, right? So, and she came here and sought community with us because we believe in her. We believe that she can write a book. Several of us in this room have also written a book, right? So you are now in the place with people who are doing what you want to be doing, who are doing even more than you want to be doing, so that you can learn from them. You can get mentorship from them. You can continue to progress and grow because you're around other people who are doing that too.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Thank you,
step off
Kelly.
my soapbox.
Thank you, Kelly.
When you're on your soapbox, Kelly,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. I feel your passion in every share you've had today. Your passion, like that is Kelly Fox. Like what you it's just like there you are, Kelly. I just, it's been bold, and you're owning it. And right, and we all like what I love about that is that we don't each show up that way every time. And that's why expansion through community is so important, because we all have our ups and downs, but we're all in those ebbs and flows at different times. And so that's how you expand through community, because you're with each other's ebbs and flows. And when you're in an ebb and somebody else is flowing, you can hop on their bandwagon, the momentum picks up. And that's the power in the group. So yeah. Thanks, Kelly. You got my momentum going today. I'm like, yeah, Kelly.
I love it. I love it. Energy enhancers. That's what we are. That's what community does. So I love this. And so just a quick recap about the acronym for our listeners and you if you're taking notes. The C is choose your vision, choose the vision. The R is release perfection. The E is express authentically. A, align your actions. T, trust the process. And E, expand through community. And I want to wrap up with everyone sharing, if you are willing, 1 year from today. So think about this. The podcast is evergreen content, you guys. So I love having these conversations with you every month, digging in, because like Kelly said, like we're all here to grow and evolve and expand in what we're doing in our life, our business, or legacy. And it's all here. So 1 year from today, what are you hoping you've intentionally created in your life, your leadership, and your legacy? I would love to hear from everyone as we wrap up our Create framework. And this is like a time capsule. So not looking at perfection. We're just looking at, hey, what do you want? What do you want to see happen here? Who's ready?
I'll jump in real quick. First of all, I wanted to touch on community real quick. We need to, one of the things that I have learned, because I had lots of community around me, but I was the highest achiever in the group, which didn't help me. So what I learned is that I needed to find a community of people who was at the places I wanted to be and that would lift me up, because I was getting tired of lifting everybody else up, and that's where my energy was being drained. So if anyone's looking for a community, sometimes it takes a little courage to find people who are in your mind better than you or higher than you, but you know what? They're not. They just did more than you, and they can show you how. So that's just my little soapbox for Kelly. And in a year from now, I will have my business marketing gym not only launched, but I will have a thriving community of mastermind people who will be in there growing with me. And I will be in my homestead with my family.
Yeah, you will.
I'm speaking it into existence.
I love it.
And
Yes,
so it is.
Yes. I believe you. Yeah, I believe you. Love that. All right. Who's next?
I don't know. Now I'm all fired up because Leah was talking about the homestead, and I'm like, yes, that's my homestead, homeschool, all the home things. I can go next. So I 100% believe, and know that the universe is aligning for me to create my coaching program. So Brie Marie Collective, like content and coaching for every relationship season. Like I have continued to put it out there. The reason that I looked for this community is because I wanted expansion. I wanted to be able to help people in different dynamics than what I currently do. And I love my job, but I really want to be able to expand on that. And so I think that the coaching program is just going to be something really incredible that I'm going to be able to build, and like not just build in my small area, but build like across the US and use my expertise area that I already have in just helping people in different ways. And so I'm really excited about that. And I think that I'm excited a year from now to still be in this OP program, and then we can bring this video back and talk about it and be like, guys, you remember when I talked about that? I did it. We did it. We all did those things. And then Leah and I'll talk about the homesteading.
Yes. I love it. Thank you, Bree. Beautiful. I believe you. That sounds amazing. And we'll be celebrating the whole time. Every step of the way, every setback, every challenge, every lesson along the way.
I love this. And again, like just I could feel it, like, right? So 1 year from today, my real card deck, which will be full of affirmations and action items so that you can live real, will be not only available, but carried in the purses or pockets of anybody who wants to, or I think I want to put a number on it, like of at least 1,000 people will be carrying my real card deck in their purse or pocket.
Beautiful, Nancy. I believe you. I love it. Let's get
And
that
so
card
it
deck
is.
going. I'm ready for it.
Yep.
And so it is. How about you, Kel?
At first I was like, what do I really want? You know? Because I have so many VA clients, or you know, we have so many people registered for our retreats, or you know, I have my AA degree in marketing. But I already like I already know I'm gonna get the AA in marketing. I already know that's gonna right. We always find people to come to our retreat. I have kind of enough VA clients. I know that Katarina keeps sending them to me, like, I just got a new appointment today. So I want to think of something that is something that like I don't know, right? Or I don't see right now that it will be how I'm living a year from now. And so what I have written right now is I am living in my personal power. But like, what does that look like? Right? So, I haven't finished that yet.
Yeah, and right, thinking also like when things are like, I have enough of this, I feel good about this, I know I'm gonna get this. Like this is, it's really powerful to feel that and know that those things are true. And even if it was like the personal power and the just groundedness that this keeps expanding for you in what you have, right? In
Yeah.
1 year from now, that will your leadership skills are going to evolve from having consistently built your VA business, from consistently marketing your retreats and talking about the evolution of who Kelly is and how she works with her clients, like contracts and owning your worth in your work. Like it doesn't have to be something brand spanking new in 1 year that we're doing here, right? A lot of times it's not. So love that, Cal. I believe you. That sounds amazing. And I'm just putting that emphasis on like what you have and space for enjoying all of it. All right, Terry Sayre, how about you? 1 year
Yes, ma'am.
from today. One
So
year from today.
those of you that have been in this organization for a while know that I have finally hit upon my purpose for the rest of my life, and that is to build a legacy. And so at 81, I don't see I see myself still here in a year. I see
Thank
myself
you.
expanding,
I'm gonna beat you
expanding,
up. Mm.
expanding my purpose of leaving a legacy of love, not just for my family, but for my community, a legacy of wisdom for all those that I work with in my coaching business and my leadership business, and service. And I see myself expanding that. I'm like Kelly, I'm not sure what that looks like. If it's doing more workshops, it's doing more retreats, it's serving my community in a different way, because in 6 months I won't be on city council anymore. Where will that be expanded? Because service is a part of my legacy. So where will I serve next? Will I continue working with the homeless? Will I, look at, I'd like to change the whole education system in the United States. I know I can't do that, but will I continue to support homeschoolers? What will I do to, I am going to create that. I don't know what it is, because I'm going to leap and then look back and see what's happened.
Amen.
Woo!
Woo!
I
That
love
is powerful.
Yeah.
Just thought of something that, okay.
I think we all believe you.
Yeah. So I just thought of something more specific that I want that I don't know I'll have. I want a very active, like 100+ break the silence community.
Yeah, and that's part of our service, right? That's part of the service that we want to leave a legacy for.
That.
Yeah.
Love that, Kel. Yeah. Break the silence. Like that coming in there. Well, beautiful ladies, this is amazing. I will also say that in a year from now, for me, I will have the mobile confidence and media studio to some capacity, like active, like out there. And that is the goal. That is the focus and the vision that I have right now, serving women through identity and visibility expansion, and sharing more about helping women see themselves so that they can go out there and do their work more clearly, more confidently, and owning their own personal power in their mission and what they have going on. So I want to wrap up by saying, remember your future is built on the promises that you're keeping to yourself. So choose with intention, live with purpose, and keep becoming the woman you were created to be. Until next time, empower your journey and choose on purpose.
Yeah.